What's up? And welcome back to another episode of Overtakes F1 podcast. First of all, let's just start off with saying WTF and thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We almost had 3,000 views on our last video, WTF, and we are welcoming 16 new subscribers in the course of one video. That was
Crazy.
unexpected, but a lot of
Did
fun.
we
Our
make
little
it?
group.
Guys, I think we made it.
I
I
said
feel
Okay.
like the Red Flags podcast, guys.
Okay.
it.
We famous.
All
I'm
right.
kidding.
That's a lot of fun. No, I just wanted to thank everybody right off the beginning for tuning in, checking us out, subscribing, leaving comments. We really appreciated it. We had a lot of fun responding and seeing the growth that happened.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It puts a smile on our faces.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
We
Eddie's got
appreciate it.
a couple things he wanted to go over today, and we're here to just chit chat and have some fun with it. So, what you got for us, Eddie?
Yeah.
Wait, can I
just
start
thought,
with one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I start first? And I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
finally,
You wanna-
finally,
all right,
since
we'll start.
2017,
Just
We'll
right off
start
the
with
have
bat.
that.
a Brazilian driver. We
Brazil.
got a Brazilian driver back on the grid.
Steak signed Gabriel Bortoleto.
Oh,
Fun stuff. Another Brazilian on the grid.
know-
It's about damn time.
They should have announced it on Sunday, to be honest. But
They should have.
nevertheless, let's
Mhm.
go. Porra, Brazil!
I'm thinking maybe they wanted to, and so, maybe something contractually wasn't ready yet, and then ended up being after. But it was the right place to do it. Honestly, if you guys take a look at this picture here that I'm sharing with you guys, I think that Matea just
Father and
chose
son?
Bortoleto because he liked his hair. I mean, he was like, dude,
That's funny.
Dude, we gotta
You
take this
get a
picture together.
nice-
You're signed. Let's go.
okay, but like, what is going on with Steak? Like, Kick Sauber? Like, can you at least put a shirt on him? Like, that
Yeah,
says
right?
Steak or something? Like, I don't understand what's going on in this picture.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I come from a marketing background, so that's like the first thing I think about. Put some
That
merch
is
on him.
true.
But yeah, I think it's the hair. That's why he's on Steak.
I mean, I just, yeah, they should have announced this in Brazil. How cool would
Mhm.
that have been? He was there at the race
Mm-hmm.
in his home country. Just announce it, whatever.
Crowd
Everybody
would've
knew.
gone
Everybody was talking about it. All the
wild.
announcers, the analysts, the pundits were all talking about it.
They put his face on the screen, and all the Brazilian goes wild.
But congratulations to him
hmm
getting a drive. That means no more Valtteri Bottas or Zhou Guanyu.
Oh yeah.
Look,
All right,
nothing
yes.
against those two guys. Nothing against them, for not making to the seat. Congrats to Bortoleto, but it's kind of sad to see Bottas not be in the grid. But then
Yeah.
again, this sport is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Only the best will
and now
be
they have-
seated, unless your papi owns the team. But
Well, they
That's
have
a
they have a
different
couple
story.
races. They have a couple races to run. They get to say their goodbyes, unlike Daniel Ricciardo. Sad
True.
face.
yeah, yep.
But Bottas looks like he's signed to be the Mercedes reserve driver, and it seems I saw his he posted, I think it was on Instagram. He posted a video saying that he's not going to be driving for Stake next year, and that there's exciting things in his future. And then like very shortly after, I heard about the Mercedes thing. So it seems like he's happy with it, and he did say in an interview last week that he'd be open to a reserve role with Mercedes. So it seems like he's making his peace with the situation.
That's good.
Good
He's a
for
lot of
him.
fun to have around. I mean, it's not like Daniel Ricciardo fun. He's fun in his own way.
Yeah,
But I really, it's kind of sad, but there is a shift, and you can feel it in all of the youth that is coming
Mhm.
to Formula One. It's kind of exciting to see who performs, who doesn't, who's gonna continue to be in Formula One, and who's gonna be a Nick DeFries, and it's just gonna be out like real quick.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna,
We're
I
gonna have
guess,
to wait and see.
another exciting thing for next season.
Yeah. Which hopefully promises to spice it up a little bit, because next season might be a little bit lackluster. There's not a lot of upgrades that teams are going to be bringing, so it's very likely that
Because they're
whatever
all
we see at the
focused
start
on
of the year,
26, right?
it's very likely that whatever we see at the start of the year is kind of how it's going to be the whole season, which is
What's
good news for
funny is
McLaren, because they keep bringing upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, we can make predictions for next season, and we could save that for like another episode, because that could be a whole thing on its own. But what I did learn from this season is like you can go in with a prediction and how a team is going to do, and then they can just make a complete 360. And it's been crazy this year. Like you couldn't have
And
told
that's why we
me
love F1.
Yes, like you couldn't have told me that Alpine were gonna be like in second and third in the last race. Like, you couldn't have told me that. Like
No,
I'd be
you
like,
couldn't have
no,
told
there's no
anybody
way.
that.
That car is heavy. It's too slow. There's no way. And so it's been a lot of interesting things. Ferrari,
The beauty of a
McLaren.
rainy race.
Yeah, I did see that quote you were talking about, Eddie, from Senna, where he basically mentioned how like you give somebody a fast car. You know that quote you said.
The rain is the great equalizer, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I saw that on the internet. I thought it was pretty cool.
Can we see snow in Vegas for the next race, just to spice it up?
Snow. I don't think it's going to be as cold. Luckily, they had a lot of problems last year with how cold the track was, and obviously with that drain cover. So hopefully they take care of that. But going back to, I mainly wanted to have this because we have like a 2-week break in between races, and I thought it would be fun to kind of look at the last 3 races of the season as a whole and kind of figure out what every team is fighting for. What do y'all think?
Let's do it. I'm gonna bring up the schedule. So we got coming up next Las Vegas. Not this week. What is it? 2 weeks from now. And then after that, we have Qatar, which has a sprint. Following that is in Abu Dhabi. And these 3 races are all back to back to back.
Another triple header. And then it's over until next year. Sad face.
Sad face. So why don't we just like talk about the big one? I mean,
let's do it.
Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
So can he wrap it up in Las Vegas, Elvis style, white suit? Here we go. Is it going to be over?
So he needs to outscore Lando by 3 points. And to be honest, I don't think it's going to happen in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
What do you mean?
So
I read that. I'm not that great at math. For those of you watching, so what does that mean? If he explain.
So there's
83 points. Like if he gets 25 and he's in second, that's it.
What do you mean?
Because there's more than a 3-point difference there. Is that what you mean?
If Max outscores Lando by 3 points, then he can DNF the last 3 races, like the 2 races, the 2 Grand Prix and the sprint, and Lando can win all 3 races, and he still won't have enough points. That's what that means.
So explain the outscore by 3 points.
Okay, if Lando gets first in the race and Max comes second, that means we still got a competition, basically.
Because Max can still DNF, and if every race that's left, and if Lando wins everything, then Lando wins. If Max doesn't score any more
that's
points.
what I meant. I was like, if Max wins Vegas 25 points,
then it's
26, because he's gonna pull the fastest lap, and then Lando comes in second. That's it, right?
Yeah, like for
then
instance,
it's over.
Let's just say Max comes in 4th, and in 4th place you get 12 points, right? And Norris gets 5th, that's 10 points. That's a 2-point differential. That would mean that the race is not over, like the competition is not over,
right?
And we would have to take it into the weekend after in I think what did I say? Abu Dhabi?
No, Qatar.
Qatar. Sorry, Qatar. So it has to be 3 points that he gains on him. basically.
Yeah, I don't see it happening in Vegas. That if you watch quali in Brazil and practice and everything, like that McLaren is so much faster than the Red Bull. It's not even
Mm-hmm.
close.
Mm-hmm.
And at a track like Vegas, I mean, it has just the longest straights in the world. I mean, obviously not like the straight in China is longer, but this is basically just Monza with a couple more corners. And
So you're
I just
calling a
think that
McLaren win?
I mean, the McLaren is, I think, just the fastest car. Maybe Ferrari can compete depending on what they do. But I mean, Lando in qualifying in Brazil was like half a second clear of everybody. And that's on a really short track with all the corners in the world. Like the whole track is one big corner. And the Vegas is complete opposite. And he was already faster by half a second. I don't see it happening in Vegas, but I mean, it's extremely unlikely that Lando wins at this point. And to that point, McLaren announced that they have given up fighting for the drivers' championship, and that they're just gonna.
Wow.
So
they're
is
just
that
gonna
so? Did they really say that?
Yeah, that's what Andrea Stella said. That they're just focusing on the constructors because they're really
Look
worried
at
about
that.
Ferrari.
Wow. So basically that means Norris is just like, that's it, I give up.
Hey,
I
those
don't know if
7
Norris has
points
given up,
that they gave up in Austria, he's like
and
punching
the 3
himself
points
in
in
the face
Hungary.
now.
No, the 3
And the other
points.
3,
No, the 3
well,
points in Hungary, and then
okay,
yeah, it was 3
Piastri's
points
2
in Hungary.
wins.
Sorry,
Okay.
It
7
would have
points in
still
Hungary.
been
There needs
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
a documentary made about how to blow a constructors and drivers championship
a
in one
drivers'
season.
championship.
Oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
Netflix is gonna eat it up.
Like they
But
did so bad.
but I think they have, to be honest, I think they have a right to be scared of Ferrari, because
They
if you
should
just look
be.
at the last 3 races, McLaren scored 77 points, Ferrari scored 116,
Let's bring this
and
back up.
they only lead Ferrari by 36 points. So I mean, Ferrari's outscored them by 39 points in the last 3 races. So it's very, very possible that McLaren doesn't win the constructors.
Yeah,
And
I
the difference
It's
in
a
think.
shame
prize money
signs.
is like last year was $10 million between first and second.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's a shame
Aren't
signs
they?
DNF the last race.
Yeah.
If not, this would have been a little bit different.
I mean, they
Okay.
still kept it close though between
These are
Ferrari
the
and McLaren.
standings for the constructor championship. So you see in Mexico, this is Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mexico, they gained 41
Yeah.
and McLaren got 22. So they went up 19 over the
Mhm.
course of one weekend. And then you're like,
In
okay, well,
in
McLaren
Coda,
got 8 points in them, but still, like that was a
in
big jump for them.
in Coda, Ferrari scored 55 points and McLaren scored 28.
Yeah, they were because of the sprint weekend. They did
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Ferrari's surging, and I think they're right to be nervous.
Hell yeah. Money's on the
Um,
line. I mean,
I wanted to ask you guys. So McLaren leads Ferrari by 36 points, and they lead Red Bull by 49 points. Now, in the last 3 races, McLaren's outscored Red Bull by 8 points total. So McLaren scored 77 and Red Bull scored 69. Nice. And so do we think that this is a 3-horse race to the end, or just between a 2-horse race between McLaren and Ferrari? Or do we think Red Bull still has a chance?
I'm sorry,
Hmm.
but if Mr. Perez doesn't help put dirt in the truck, then it's not gonna happen. That's just my opinion.
What about you, V?
Look, the reason McLaren and Ferrari are up there and doing what they're doing is because they have 2 drivers that are helping out.
No,
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
that's the
agree.
case for both Mercedes and Ferrari. See, that's a really tough one.
McLaren
Um,
and Ferrari.
I
So
think
in the
the
last
only way this is possible is if Red Bull really does something spicy and they say goodbye to Sergio Perez for the remaining 3 races.
But who do they put in the
Um,
car?
I think that they would give the opportunity to Liam Lawson. I think they
And
would
who would they
switch
put
some
in the
stuff
RB?
around.
Because RB's got a fight on their
Put
hands too.
me.
If you look
I
at RB,
I think that they would just, in that circumstance.
Hajar.
Okay, I'm just talking out of my butt right now. But in that circumstance, maybe they would bring up Isaac. But I don't feel like that's gonna happen. I think what they are doing is preparing for next year by going to Williams and talking about the potential Carlos buyout or getting Colapinto. I
Colapinto.
think those moves with Williams that are happening under the table are for next year. That's not for this year at all. That doesn't affect what's happening with the team this year.
Yeah.
But I think if Red Bull decides to do something crazy, then maybe they can get somebody up there, or maybe Sergio's car is really just effed, like really bad, because we had previously mentioned how they're just repairing the same floor over and over again because they ran out of money with the damages that he's had. So maybe they're gonna keep Perez. There's so many scenarios. Like maybe they just keep Perez and they're effed because of the budget. And sorry, like they're just gonna have to fall for third. Okay, I think Red Bull stays third. That's my call for the long-winded answer I just gave. I think Red Bull stays third. Um, but if they did something drastic, then maybe they're in the fight for the top three. But I think this is two people fighting for first right now. I think Red Bull's just gonna keep hanging out there.
What about you, Will? What do you think? Think Red Bull's got a shot? That's a no.
No words, just a head shake.
Fun statistic. In the last 5 races, that goes back to Azerbaijan, which is the race that Oscar won. And that's the one that Checo, Leclerc, Sainz, and Oscar were all fighting for the win.
And Checo crashed at the end.
Checo and Sainz ended up colliding.
Yeah.
Checo scored 8 points in the last 5 races. That's not good. To give you some perspective, at the start of the season, Checo's finishes were third, fifth, second, fourth, second, fifth, second. And then there was a sprint weekend in China. I don't remember what he finished, and then he finished second again in Miami. I don't know. And then fourth. Sorry, he got 4 points. No points for 2 races. 4 points, 7 points, no points. Like the crash after Miami in his point output is at this point unacceptable. And I mean, the amount of money that it's costing Red Bull. So last year, the team that finished in first place got 140 million in prize payouts. The team that finished in third got 122 million. That's a difference of $18 million between first and third. Is Checo worth that money? Like, how much sponsorship money is he pulling in where they're losing $18 million for no reason?
That's what we don't know. And from what I've read, the Hispanic community, the Latins sponsorship pay pretty good.
Okay, but get rid of Checo now. Get rid of Checo
million?
Next season. Yeah, like, is there a difference between getting rid of him now or getting rid of him next season financially?
Well, that's the difference, because if they can make up a position, that's $9 million. If they can win, that's $18 million. That was last year. There's probably more money, more prize money this year, because Formula One's just growing.
I don't know. There's a lot of politics behind it. I think if they could have done it, they would have already done it. And I think we know at that break we had, their marketing team, something media, I forgot the name of it.
Liberty Media,
like walked them off the edge and told them no, basically. And there's speculation is because during the break he had a documentary come out on Disney Plus about being a Red Bull driver, and they still had the Mexico race to go to. So there was all this speculation, but Mexico race is passed. Eddie's guess is that, Sergio's not going to be racing for Red Bull in 2 weeks.
To be fair, I did say that I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't think that I was going to get
it was a wild prediction.
Yeah.
It was a wild prediction. Our tinfoil hat predictions. So yeah, I think it's hard to say the answer for it, because I'm sure that there's a lot of political stuff behind it. So maybe he is worth that much just to help the Red Bull image. But it's easy for us as fans looking from the outside in to be like, nah, he ain't worth that much. Get rid of him. Come on.
Yeah. And can you imagine the situation they will be in if they do replace him for these last 3 races with whoever they select and they just completely bonker it, just don't bring points
Okay,
at all
but they're
at
still
the
mean,
gonna have the
very
same
end.
car he has.
I
Like
what?
they'll still have the same car Sergio Perez is driving. So
Mhm.
they're
No, I
saying
get
that
that.
that car is
Right.
damaged. They've rebuilt the floor a bunch of times. So whoever does come, if you have Yuki or you have Lawson step in, like they're gonna be driving a damaged car.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Everybody, hear me out. And if you're
Okay.
watching this, tell me if you agree with me. Give Max Checo's car to Max. Bam.
You can't
Problem
do that.
solved.
You can't do that. If that
Legally,
car
you
Nobody
is
can
can't.
just switch the stickers out. Switch the stickers out. Nobody's ever gonna know.
no,
Done.
no, no. Max
Perez
is still
has a
fighting for.
fast machine, and Max will take that tractor to P1 the last 3 races, no matter what, because he's after what I saw him do in the last race. Bam. Problem solved. Tell me no. Do you agree with me? Done.
Like and
I just
subscribe.
solved Christian Horner's problem.
You
I'm
did
done.
it.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna switch it up a little.
By the way, Eddie, check out this cool ass graphic I have for this t-shirt.
Oof, that's awesome. He took his headphones off.
Sorry.
I said that's awesome. I like it.
Yeah, I liked it. I had to get it. I had to get it. Okay.
So Eddie's got a take. Eddie, what's your take?
No. Oh well, my take is that Red Bull is the worst they can do is where they are now. I don't think it would
Yeah.
hurt to try somebody else out in the car. I think it's a bad look, but I don't think that with the 2 drivers that they have now that they can do any better than third.
Okay, so then that's what I was saying. I feel like if you're part of Red Bull PR, right, public relations, you see the damage that has happened to that team over the course of the season, and you're like, come on, I think it's best that we just keep this guy to the end of the season, because do you want something else terrible, like to look like another bad look for you guys? You started with the Christian Horner stuff. You lost Adrian Newey. You have Max's dad talking trash about Horner, and then they fire the girl who made the claim about Horner. There's like all these terrible things that are being said. People are leaving Red Bull in waves, and you're just like, okay, we're drowning here. I know it's RB, but they get rid of Daniel Ricciardo in this like trashy way, like. And what now? You're just going to throw Sergio Perez out to continue burning the fire? Sure, if you're like, okay, we give up on our image, like fine, F it, let's go. It just seems like there's some crazy fire sale going on over there. Like I don't know. Like I think if Red Bull's trying to like kind of clean up their image, they're not gonna do it. If they don't care, then they're gonna do it.
I gotta turn up the AC in here. It's getting hot.
This conversation is getting heated.
No, I like it though. I like it.
Yep.
No, I agree with everything you're saying.
Mm-hmm. I like that we agree on something.
Yeah, we agree on everything.
If Max wasn't in first place right now and could potentially win it on this next race, they would have been in big trouble with their fans, with Liberty Media, with everybody. You know, because yeah, you're right. Everything that you just said right there, V, is like, Jesus.
It's been a season from hell for that team. And the fact
It's
that Max
been a
Verstappen
season.
is at the top of the Drivers' Championship. I mean, this guy is the GOAT. Like, it's incredible to see what he's been doing this season.
Careful. On the last video, not everybody agrees. But
No, nobody's ever gonna agree.
I'm not talking about
not everybody's
like,
gonna agree on everything.
the legacy drivers. All right. I'm talking about like modern day. I mean, you got Lewis Hamilton hanging around too. You know. Sorry.
Yeah. No, he's definitely in contention.
Yeah.
Should we look at a different 3-way fight?
Yes, let's do it.
let's do it.
So there's now a 3-way fight for 6th place after one race. where Alpine went
Mm.
from 9th place to 6th place.
Let me bring up the Mexico standings so we can compare that. All right,
Look at
this
that.
is where they were.
They were 9th place.
They had 14 and they had a very good weekend and ended
Mhm.
with 49. They gained 35 points in one weekend. That's
And
just crazy.
and $30 million in prize payouts if the
Ooh.
season ended today from that one race.
Wait, but you're
It's pretty
saying
nuts.
they're fighting for 5th, not 6th, right?
No, they're fighting for 6th with
Mhm.
Haas and RB. Because I
Mhm.
mean,
You
if
don't
you
think
look
they
at
can
it, they're
catch up to
separated.
Aston Martin?
No, not with 3 races. There's no way. They'd need to double their points in 3 races.
No, and
No,
Alpine's not going to have that look again.
Yeah.
even
I
if they
forgot
did
about
that again, they would still be in 6th place. But they're separated. They're all separated by 5 points total. Literally anything can happen, and it's $8 to $9 million in payout jumps between the 3 positions wherever you finish.
Okay,
Now,
so can we before you do that, can at the end of this can we make a prediction
sure,
of what our things are going to be and then count it towards the championship?
sure, like
Okay,
final
cool.
standings.
Yeah, for 6, 7, 8. Like
Okay,
what's it going to be?
we can do it for 1, 2, 3 if you want as well.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. All right, do your thing. What were you going to say?
No, all I was gonna say is like both Haas and RB throughout the season have looked pretty solid, I would say. Haas recently has been doing really, really well. And in
Yeah.
the last race, RB scored a decent amount of points. So Alpine just kind of came out of
By Haas,
nowhere.
you mean
They're high in the
compared
rank.
to the last 2 seasons, right?
No, I just mean
Or
compared
last season.
to the midfield. I mean, they're outscoring Aston Martin every race. Aston Martin hasn't scored points. Let me look it up real quick, just so I'm not talking out of my butt. But Aston
Oh,
Martin hasn't
I mean,
scored
I
points
make
in
the
3 races.
graphics, so I feel like I haven't written any points for that team.
Yeah, they haven't scored points in 3 races. In the last 6 races, they've scored 12 points. That's. I mean, they're heavily struggling. In the last 9 races, they've scored 16 points. So it's. I mean,
What a fall
Aston Martin
off.
scoring points, but I don't think anybody can catch them.
Mm-mm.
So there is going to be a midfield team scoring points. Now it's just, is it going to be Haas, Alpine, or RB? And that's going to be fun to watch. I think the battle of the midfield.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I love that Alpine just inserted themselves right at the end to make this interesting.
Right? I
Yeah.
love F1. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
cool. It's cool that
what's
we just don't talk about. We don't have to just talk about the team that's winning.
that's what I
Like
was gonna
last
talk
year.
about. I'm like, what other sport are you excited to talk about? The guys in the midfield.
Yeah.
Like,
Very
because
rarely.
when you're watching basketball, you're like, oh, like the Miami Heat are in first in the East. Like, whoa, they're so good. You're not like, oh my God, did you see Philadelphia hanging out in 7? Woohoo! Like nobody cares about that.
It's true.
Like nobody gets excited about that. But this right here, this 6, 7, 8 is exciting. Like
And
I'm here for it.
they race each other hard too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes even the RBs race the Red Bulls a little hard. Well, one of the Red Bulls.
Lawson, that's a lot of fun. That guy.
Look, talking about 6, 7, and 8, all it takes is for some weird thing to happen again on any of these next 3 races, and Sauber to jump to 9th.
Okay. I mean, I
No,
guess, but
okay.
that's not
All
happening.
right. No.
Look,
Valtteri Bottas is gonna get his goodbye points to get out of 23.
yeah, come on,
There's
let the
no
guy
way.
win.
There's no way that car scores a point this year. There's 0% chance.
I want to know. It would take too long to pull up the stat, but I want to know how many times him and Zoo have been lapped
Oh my
this year.
goodness. That would have been fun to look up. It would have been a hard stat to find.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really a hard stat. You can look at all the results, but it would have taken
How
some
many
time.
times it would be lapped, or how many
I mean,
many
they've been
times they
times
have been
they
they've
have?
lapped?
I don't think they've finished a race without being a lap down. So it's at least 20 each. And then if you want to count multiples,
Yeah, and that's because
because every
we didn't
race,
have a lot of
most of the
safety
field,
cars.
every race, most of the field gets lapped. I want to say at least the last 8 cars on the road guaranteed get lapped. But yeah, that would be fun. But I mean, if we look at the standings again, sorry to have you bring it back up, but
Yeah, of course.
in my opinion, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Williams, and Stake really have nothing left to fight for. I think they're
Yep.
all pretty solidified in where
Mm.
they are. And now it's just about kind of ending the season and getting a new start with everybody else on 0 points next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so then let's just go to the prediction. So I think for me, here's my reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
RB was interesting, but they
Mm-hmm.
were struggling with Ricardo. Lawson has come back. He's been performing really well. They got Yuki, who's performing very well. I feel like he's got some fire under his butt to kind of push him, having Lawson next to him. Haas is doing very good, and Alpine was just luck. So I'm gonna say RB Haas Alpine. I think that's how it ends. I think Lawson
I was
helps
gonna
push
say
them
the same.
up to the.
I was
The
gonna
same
say the
3?
same thing. I was going to, but I want to spice it up a little bit, just because
Okay.
I won't. America. Um, I want to see Haas up there a little bit, so I'm gonna go with Haas 6,
Mm-hmm.
RB 7, and I just think Alpine is not gonna do much, and then just fall a little bit behind back to number 8.
Okay. So I have the same thinking as well, but not because America, but because I think Haas has been the most consistent team,
Mhm.
and at least in the back half of the season. But so that we don't have the same picks, I will switch it up and say Alpine beats RB, even though I don't believe it to be true.
Oh, but then
So
she
I'll
wants
go
some points.
Haas. I'll go Haas in 6th,
You're not trying to win
Alpine
championship.
7th, RB 8th. Those will be my predictions, even
All
though
right.
there's no basis for it, and that's not what I
With
believe.
no explanation. But I
I
honestly
don't.
think V has a strong.
Hell yeah! I'm trying to win this
We'll see
thing.
what happens. We'll see what
I
happens.
don't know. Do we all agree on the same thing for the top 3? Because I think the top 3 stays the way it is.
Oh, you think so?
No,
I
I
think it
don't.
stays like that.
Okay. So
I don't.
Will is a dissenter.
I think Ferrari
Wow.
is going to prevail
Wow. That's
Well,
going to
and
be
take
so
the
embarrassing for
constructors.
McLaren because they kind of already celebrated being in first place.
Hey, look. Hey, I'm sorry. You guys just effed up. I mean, you guys have a freaking fast ass car, but the strategies. Ay, ay, ay. So I'm calling Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull.
okay. I'm gonna have to agree. I do want to switch it up so that we don't have the same thing, but I'm gonna have to agree with Vero and say that I think it's gonna stay the same. I think
That's
it's gonna
fine.
stay the way that it is.
You can get an easy 3 points with me too. It's
I
fine.
think I think the McLaren is gonna bag a humongous amount of points this week, or not this week, but this next race in Vegas. Like it's gonna be
Wait, but we're not. This that we're talking about is for the end of the
the
championship, right? Like
sure,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. The
yeah. But
overall.
I
the
think they're
end of
gonna
the
pull it.
season.
I think they're gonna pull a huge gap this week on Ferrari
Not this week, in 2 weeks.
or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, the Vegas race.
But we've all made predictions before and they've happened and they haven't. So
Yeah.
we shall see.
There's one last thing I wanted to talk about, which I haven't done any research.
Talk to me.
But after watching free practice, quali, and the race in Brazil, the every time, okay, the Williams crashed 3 cars, completely destroyed, and the mechanics looked so sad, and I mean, it must be terrible for that team. But if you think back and think that they had Logan Sargent for the first half of this year, and he crashed a lot of cars too, I'm wondering how many components they have left and how much money they have left to fix these cars, because they couldn't fix Albon's car, granted because there was a lot of damage, but there's still 3 races left in a sprint race, and Williams is not a team with a lot of money. So I'm not sure where they are in the cost cap, but I hope that they don't have any difficulties replacing parts for the rest of the season, because they were on such a good track from last year, where I think they got 7th in the constructors, mainly because of Albon. But Logan Sargent did score a point, and it feels like all that momentum they gained last year is completely gone.
They did get Colapinto, and the rumor has that they're basically getting about $500,000 in sponsorships per race for the remainder of the season. Rumors, saw rumors. So maybe they got some more money, but that does
maybe.
Yeah,
but
what I'm trying to say is like there is a salary cap, so I'm assuming they're very close to it.
The cost cap, like it costs what I think the estimates are like 1.2 million or something for an F1 car, like to build it. And I mean,
how much?
Albon's car was like 1.2 million.
That's it?
If they have to completely rebuild it. Yeah. But Albon's car was completely destroyed. And Colapinto's car was like leaking green fluid. Like that car was these aren't minor incidents that Williams was going through. This is complete rebuilds. So really I hope for their sake that everything's okay, because I mean they're a fun team to watch.
You think they'll be able to fix the cars for the Vegas race?
Oh, I mean, of course, they have 3 weeks to fix the cars. But
it's just, is it going to be an inspiring car to watch?
It might be old components. I don't know, but I'm a James Vowles fan. I'm an Alex Albon fan. I'm becoming a Colapinto fan. So I just want to see them do well.
This is the only sport where you can be a fan of every single team.
Yeah, except Steak Kick F1 team, Sauber, something.
Yeah. I don't know if I could be a fan of a team with 4 names.
Yeah, at least they have 4 first names.
Eddie, I think you pose a great question that there is no answer to. Just assumptions, and it's gonna be
fun to watch.
I'm
excited.
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna be sad because the season's over.
I know.
And then we get to watch all the livery reveals. We get to see all that carbon fiber, and then Drive to Survive. Yeah, which will come out like 3 days before the season starts, so you have to binge watch it.
Okay, I tweeted this and it got no attention, and I'm just gonna say it here: petition to make Drive to Survive 20 episodes this year.
Yeah,
please sign my petition.
Where can
even if at the beginning of the season, because they like to release it right before the season comes out, give us 10 episodes, and then like somewhere mid-season, give us 10 more. Like, let us, like, even if it takes them a little longer to edit, I don't care.
No, I don't like that. Give us 20 or give us nothing.
This was such a great season. We've heard it from the announcers who have been watching Formula One way longer than we have, that this is one of the best that they've seen. So give it some respect. Give it 20 episodes.
Give it 30.
Just give it 10.
Give it 40.
Why not?
Give it seasons. Give the season a season.
Every race gets an episode. How about that?
Yeah, I'm okay with this.
Yeah. Tell the full story.
I
have one last question to bring up before we wrap things up. And this is to whoever is watching, if they stayed watching 39 minutes in. So we're here in America, the 3 of us, right? We in Miami. And we have this Vegas race for us at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever you're watching, at what time is this race for you? And how convenient or inconvenient is for you?
I don't think it's convenient for anyone in the world.
Jesus Christ, 1 o'clock in the morning for us here, New York time, Eastern Standard Time.
That's
I'll tell you who it's
like
convenient.
6
Are you
a.m.
sleeping over
in
again, Eddie?
England.
I'll tell you who it's convenient for. It's
Who's
convenient
it?
for the casinos.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, Vegas
Um,
doesn't sleep, so only
mhm.
that little piece in the in
Yeah,
this
but
Yeah.
world is gonna enjoy it.
a nighttime race or middle of the day, like that's prime time for casinos to make their money. You got to do it at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm. Well, I remember last year. This is for insight for our viewers. Last year, we watched the race together, but we made like an event out of it. So we had Eddie stay over, and we basically had breakfast for dinner. And it was like late. We were like,
Oh,
"Oh,
it
we're
was
gonna
so
have a
good.
really late dinner." And we made breakfast tacos, and it was
So good.
very delicious. And I remember, I think it was like somewhere around like 10. I was like, I'm gonna go take a nap. I was pregnant. I think I was pregnant at that point. And I was like, all right, wake me up. And then Will comes in. He's like, the race is gonna start. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going. And then we watched the race.
Formation lap. She's like,
Now we have a
no, but
newborn.
seriously,
So
1 o'clock in the morning. How long is the next race next year gonna be the same thing? They're just gonna keep it like this?
I can look it up, but I think so. Let's see.
Can we start a petition for that too?
Las Vegas
Nice.
Grand Prix. It is Sunday, November 24th at 1 a.m. for us. Qualifying is Saturday,
us.
November 23rd at 1 a.m. for us.
So wherever you are in the world, though, the cool thing, you go into the F1 website and you click on the schedule and you go into the Vegas and there's like a track times, right? And then there's a little other button that says my time. So wherever you are, it says what time the race is going to be your time.
okay, hold on.
Some people must click and see if it says my time. It must be like, what's the perfect time to watch F1? Like to me, Sundays. Like I
At
don't
like
usually
10
do much.
a.m.
Yeah.
Sunday, like
Okay.
10
Like
a.m.
But even
right?
Vegas time,
Wake up.
like
You have time to
10
wake up
o'clock.
late. Coffee. Huh?
10
Yeah, the
o'clock
race.
is late.
Yeah, it is late.
And that's only because the traffic, like the amount of human traffic. I'm not talking about cars, like that happens in Vegas and how many events happen throughout the day that they had to put that race later at the night. For logistics reasons. And it kind of sucks, honestly.
For casino reasons.
Eddie, you gonna go?
No.
And you
I don't
couldn't
have
get
an
a deal at the
I don't have-
Aria?
No, I don't have an extra $70,000 to go watch an F1 race in Vegas from my hotel room.
Just watch it from the
Yeah.
TV.
So I had mentioned to you guys earlier, and I'll just mention it here again. There's like the special going on, 44% off for like Lewis Hamilton special, 44% off one of the grandstands over there. And even if they make it 99% off, I still can't afford it. So thanks.
But fun fact,
But
Las
maybe one
Vegas
day.
is the most expensive race to go to in the Formula One calendar.
Wow, even more expensive than Monaco?
Yes.
Wow.
I did see one of those little charts that was like from cheapest race to most expensive, and Las Vegas is king.
Wow.
The
For
most
what?
expensive F1
Look, Las
race
Vegas is dope.
in the calendar.
I love Las Vegas. I've been there a few times. It's one of my favorite. I know that you really like Vegas too, Eddie.
Not no more. Not no more.
No, no more.
Not no more.
Oh, I think Vegas hurt Eddie's feelings.
Not no more.
No, I heard his bank account. That's what.
I don't go to Vegas anymore.
So I get it. I get the appeal, but it's just like, whatever. It's just Vegas. So yeah. Anything else, guys?
No. Thanks for doing this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, of course. Everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining the community. Leave us some comments. Let us know we sucked, where we were wrong, what I spelled wrong today. Let us know.
Listen, it's not a
Max
it's not a
Verstappen.
Veronica graphic. It's not a Veronica graphic if there's no misspelled words in there.
That's too
Trust
funny.
me, guys.
Honestly,
Trust
and we
me.
did that whole thing with like whoever says potato, The person
Yeah.
who wrote potato, like, are you real? Like,
It's too-
because your username is bot, you know? So, like,
Let's try it again. If you're watching 45 minutes in, type it watermelon,
yeah. Type watermelon.
and let's
and remember,
see.
you have to live in the United States if you want to receive a sticker because shipping is expensive. So,
You have to live in South Florida. Let's just be more specific.
No.
anywhere in the US is fine.
All
All
right.
right,
Thanks,
y'all.
everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.